is really contagious. And I mean, sport has always been a big part of my life. I've volunteered since I was 10, so...
What is your sport? What's your own sport?
Originally, I started off with football and then pursued athletics, and I'm a long-time member of my club, which Perry Shakes Drayton actually trains at, and Christine Norrigu. So I've got brilliant role models to look up to, especially in the female athletics world.
Right, now then, Tom, you've got a rather different view of all of this. Your team has not done terribly well in terms of more money. Government says you should stop whinging.
Well, actually, we've not been whinging because the England Handball Association has done really well out of the funding. I think what the public have got to look at, there's two channels for handball. One is British handball, which is the elite side, which hasn't got funding from UK Sport. But England Handball are a separate organisation, obviously the same sport. We're funded from Sport England, and our revenue has tripled in the announcement before Christmas. So we've done exactly what we set out to do over the last 4 years. So we've got big smiles on our faces.
So you've done well, right? Okay. But do you agree that other people? Well, let's talk about the British side of your sport. Should get on with it?
Well, I'd like you to ask them that question. I mean, that's we're going to open our arms and say let's work together. But in terms of what they do with UK sport, it's a conversation they've got to have. I mean, we've got to talk about how many kids are playing handball and how many clubs that we've got going over the next 2 years, and that's what we're so happy about.
Yes. And do you see an actual legacy from the games? Do you detect a lot more interest?
Oh, massive legacy. I got moved down to the south in April, sort of to get ready for the Olympics and be a guy on the ground with the rest of our staff in the area. And from day one, as soon as that first game came on, the amount of people wanting to play handball was amazing. And since then, the rise in clubs has been massive, and we're sort of predicting a 86% rise in clubs over the next year and a half. So really happy for myself and also for handball across the country as well. There has been a legacy.
Now, Helen, do you sort of sympathise with those who are not going to do terribly well in cash terms? And if anybody's going to get to Rio, they're going to need a lot of money to support them, aren't they, the next Olympic Games?
Absolutely. I mean, my heart goes out to all those that have trained for their dreams to then compete at the highest level for their country and then be told that they're not going to be funded and that they need to be that they need to find another source of income to support them. I mean, I think a sport like basketball that offers so much to youngsters, it being a mainstream sport, and then for its elite squads to represent GB not being funded is sort of telling youngsters, okay, if you get to that level, you have to go elsewhere to represent a different country, maybe to go abroad or such. And we'd be losing a lot of talent there after such training. It's a shame, really.
And Tom, if you're not in the position of getting government help, are there other big sources of income around? We've been reporting today the recession. We don't seem to be getting out of that. Money for sport generally must be pretty short.
You have to be smart in the way that you go about getting money, in any sector, whether it's sport or not, because it's about what you can offer back to those people now. They're not just going to write you a big cheque, though, obviously. We'd welcome that. But, showing the amount of participation that you have across the country and sort of global reach of especially a sport like ourselves with handball, you can see them from a marketing point of view why it would be good to invest in this sport.
And what about Rio? What are your own thoughts about Rio?
Well, I'd like to get some tickets, and I'm sure it's going to be a great time as well. I'm sure they're going to put on a really good show. But in terms of handball and looking forward, obviously we have a talent structure within England handball as well, and happy to support the GB guys and girls going forward.
And Helen, you're looking forward to Rio, are you?
Absolutely. I can't wait. Hopefully I get to go over for the summer carnival and Olympics and Paralympics and be part of the volunteering team there as well.
It would be volunteering again, will it?
It would be, yeah. Much like the rest of the world, when an opportunity such as the Olympics or the Winter Olympics comes up, the public do really help out, and they'll offer their houses, open it to volunteers themselves, and really help out and get together. It's a great atmosphere, and I'm sure Brazil won't disappoint.
No, it'll be fun. Helen Tang and Tom Smith, thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now, research by the World Health Organization indicates that around half of all school children were infected with swine flu during the first year of the pandemic in 2009. In all, the World Health Organization believes that at least a fifth of the world's population contracted swine flu in 2009. That's around 1.4 billion people. It's estimated that 200,000 people died. The study used data from 19 countries.